Dumisani just arrived in Zimbabwe. He was walking from Congo to Zimbabwe, championing entrepreneurship. That was on social media as well.
I don't believe in that. There was a graduation, right, at Unza. And then there is a guy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the mother,
Yeah.
their picture was all over social media.
I think people read between the lines that I think it was an aspect of not being able to afford the kind of outfit that you might want for your graduation. And so because of that, then I think there was a guy that shared it. He's a popular guy, and he said he wanted to reach out to them and just have a conversation with them and see if they could do a photo shoot for them, a proper photo shoot, and do some makeup for the mom. He's leaving government as the head of department for government efficiency.
I didn't know he had the position.
Yeah, he had a government job.
For me, I just thought maybe they were just rolling together strong.
No, he had a government job.
He got it like that when it comes to money.
No, he had a government job. He had like a serious government job. You find that there are people who start from the bottom. And we're not talking about exaggerated, I started with one rice and what, but like serious bottom. I mean, the uninformed Zambian perspective that most people have is you go to school, go and get a nice job, get a second-hand car from Japan, marry a house.
You forgot the loan part.
You
forgot the loan. You get the loan, and then you get the car.
Yeah, you get a loan. A good relationship has a lot of impact on whether you succeed or not. Even when people listen to it, no one is telling you that this is a good song. Because it's not even a big song in your community.
Living my life the way I'm thinking is supposed to believe. Not the way you want me to live. I never let people choose for me what to believe. Happiness is within me. I'm living my life the way I'm thinking is supposed to believe. Not the way you want me to live. I never let people choose for me what to believe. Happiness is within me.
Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Thoughts Podcast. I'm your host Witty and I'm chilling with
Peace. It's always good to be here. Hello to our guests and thanks for tuning in.
Welcome back.
Thanks. It's always good to be here, Witty, It's good you invited me again. I don't get these invitations often, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's always a vibe chilling with you, so yeah, we gotta have you back.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so expect more invites.
No, I'll be happy to come whenever you ring me. I'm gonna come running.
So what's up? How are you?
No, I'm good, man. Busy, but I'm good. I've been up and about, but I'm good.
So what's happening? Anything that you've seen out there that's interesting, especially on social media?
I saw something that is recently actually. Dumisani just arrived in Zimbabwe. He was walking from Congo to Zimbabwe, championing entrepreneurship. That was on social media as well.
I don't believe in that.
Well,
dude, that man been working for a short period of time and he says he's in Zimbabwe.
No, but I mean, I think we also must understand the context in which the walk was, right?
Yeah.
So first he talks about Congo. It's like just on the other side of the border, right? So it's like Zambia then on the Congo side. So it's in Kasumbalesa, but on the Congo side, which is Congo anyways. If you look at the border and the legal aspect.
But where did he start the walk?
So that's where he started from. So he started from Kasumbalesa on the Congo side, which is in Congo.
Okay,
then he arrives in...
Anyway, I don't know much about that story. I didn't follow it well, so I can't say much.
Yeah, but I mean, he's an amazing guy. I follow him. He's good. He's good at what he does. So, yeah. But also, there's a lot of other amazing stories. We saw Faith, the Miss World lady contestant, doing amazing work with that. I think it's beautiful to see Zambians succeeding at a global stage. So
what was happening there?
Oh, you don't know about Faith? Wait, what are you looking at on social media? I mean, come on. So Faith, I think she's Faith Bwalia. She's like a model, she's contesting in the Miss World pageant. Yeah, and so once you win Miss World, so you go through a series of contests. So she won Miss Zambia to participate in Miss World. So she's a Zambian contestant competing at that level. Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. That's why I'm wondering, what are you looking at on social media? I mean, you spend a lot of time on Instagram, and we all know what's on Instagram. So.
No, relax, dude, relax. Yeah. My timeline is all podcast related.
I see.
Yeah,
okay.
no one is covering that on this platform. So yeah.
Yeah.
I also saw. What do you think of that guy who was the guy that graduated? He trended. Why was he trending for? I didn't follow that story.
Which one is that?
There was a graduation, right, at Unza, and then there is a guy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the mother,
Yeah.
their picture like was all over social
Yeah.
media. They were hitting them up, giving them money.
Yeah. I followed that story. I tried to follow a little bit of it, and I think it's a beautiful story to talk about, actually building into the conversation that we're getting into.
Yeah.
So basically, that guy graduated, and he had some pictures, and of course, with a lot of respect, like the attire wasn't like the normal attire that you get at a graduation. It was sort of like not very good. But also, I think people read between the lines that I think it was an aspect of not being able to afford the kind of outfit that you might want for your graduation. And so, because of that, then I think there was a guy that shared it. He's a popular guy, and he said he wanted to reach out to them and just have a conversation with them and see if they could do a photo shoot for them, a proper photo shoot, and do some makeup for the mom. And so they picked on that. And Makitu met with them, and big shout out to Makitu. I think he's been doing a lot of amazing work. And so when they met that guy, he actually gave some background to how he struggled during his days in school. So he said the mother could actually sell avocado, sell roasted cassava and groundnuts on the street to kind of keep him in school. And that was a huge sacrifice. He was walking, from, I think, not really sure of the place, but it was like across town every day to Unza to go and attend class. And that was a huge sacrifice. And it just goes to say that there is like young people in this country who are giving life their best, and they're giving opportunities, they're being given their best shot. And that kind of tenacity is not so often. So I mean, God rewards effort. So he got rewarded in that way. He was given some money. He got a new suit, did a new a photo shoot, had an opportunity to meet with Maki too. So I think that was huge. So
that was huge. Shout out to them.
Shout out to him.
I saw this comment. Tell me what you think about this comment. Someone was like, but how are you only paying attention to this guy? It's not like he's the only one who struggled in school. What do you think of that statement?
Well, I think stories are different, and also certain stories will hit the limelight differently.
True.
And they'll get to the limelight at different times. So one thing that we can all agree is that even when you talk about, I give a practical example of artists in this country. There's some artists that are big, that that are popular, and they're not as good. But they have the opportunity of a platform, and they can easily excel.
And we have so many talented artists in the underground.
And there's a lot of amazing people that are not on the scene. So there's a lot of people probably who have even much more difficult story than that guy, and they are not on the limelight. But it was his time to shine, and sort of grace, opportunity, and God in between, and sort of things just fell into place. So
Do you think other people are doing it for clout? Like they're just doing it for numbers? Them trying to reach out to them
for the numbers. I don't know if some are doing it for that, but like for example, people like Makitu are probably genuinely helping.
People like Mike too.
He's someone who's done a lot of community work, helped a lot of people actually even in the industry. He's an amazing guy. I met him 2 weeks ago at the Zambia Sports Awards, and I was there, and we were backstage and had a little conversation. But he's an amazing guy. So there are people like him who we know that have a track record of helping others, and so they would not do that for the numbers. But I don't know others who say there are others who actually, being negative about it, in the context of just trying to gain, numbers.
There are those who are trying to get the clout through that, being negative. And then the other thing, I feel like some are really doing it for the clout. Like they want to advertise something. Like who knows? Maybe, I'm not saying that's what was happening. The photographer who reached out to them, was he the first person to reach out to them?
I don't know I don't know the order of events.
Okay, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying the photographer did it for clout, but I'm giving an example. For example, the photographer, if he sees that the photo is circulating and all that, and then says, "Oh, someone help me find this guy," he's also going to gain.
I think he's probably gonna gain.
Yeah.
But I think in the way the story turned out, of course there's some gain that might come. But if the story did not get that much attention, also we know that probably they could have not seen the guy, and probably he would not have reached out. So there's a little bit of meeting halfway in the process. There's a little bit of the story was big, and if you participated in a way, there's some level of gain. But I think it's not really material gain because there's no direct money that you make out of it. But of course, maybe we would say you
exposure, like it's business.
But I mean, there's a lot of other good guys who didn't reach out, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But moving on from our social media stories and a lot of other things that are happening in this country has a lot of activity going on. And I think we are so big on the small moments, but also there's a lot of other big things that was happening. Yesterday there was a big election for the Africa Development Bank. I don't know if you know that, Witty, but there was an election for the African Development Bank, and there was a Zambian contestant also there, and he won the first round. But the way that election is that you must get 50+1 of the vote to win the election. And in the first round, he won with, I think, 40.2, not too sure of the numbers, but I think 40.2%. And so he was very close to becoming the president of the African Development Bank. But then in the subsequent elections, he lost, and I think a man from Mauritania is the one who won that election. But it was amazing seeing the man take part in that election. So
interesting. Though right now it feels like you're speaking in Chinese. I don't get anything.
Yeah.
And you know.
I know. I mean, not many follow. I mean, my feed is a lot of that. A lot of things that happen in the country, national issues, and governance, and so there's that I follow, and I follow it passionately. So but also I follow a lot of entrepreneurship. Yeah, there's also Elon Musk. He's having his final days in the Trump government.
What do you mean he's having his final days in the Trump government?
So basically, I think his contract was for 150 days. So after he did what he had to do, he is leaving government as the head of department for government efficiency.
I didn't know he had the position.
Yeah, he had a government job.
Oh, for me, I just thought maybe they were just rolling together as Trump.
No, he had a government job.
He got it like that when it comes to money.
No, he had a government job. He had like a serious government job.
Oh, so I kept on wondering, like, why, what is this guy doing with Trump? Why? So he had the position.
Yeah, he had a position.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what else has happened, but I mean that's more about it on the social media. The social media space.
Yeah, back to you mentioned something when I touched on the graduation.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually gonna say that it speaks to what we're about to talk about now, which is this idea of young people always wanting to have everything before they take a step in doing certain things. And nothing wrong with wanting to have certain things, but sometimes we deny ourselves an opportunity to succeed because we don't have. I mean, and that graduation gives a good case study for us to think about. Because look at that guy. If he said, I can't keep walking to school every day, I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
We're not going to know about him. But he said, look, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep going to school, and I'm going to push to the end. And of course, there's an aspect of, I think towards the end, the reintroduction of meal allowances, he says it helped him a lot, support his school and transport needs and so on. But if he had given up in that moment, we wouldn't have known about him. And now, beyond just a photographer offering to do another photo shoot and a makeup artist doing a makeup on the mother, there's people who are considering him for graduate trainee programs, internships, and so on. So he's probably easily going to get a job now after going through school, but after struggling so much. There's many with similar stories. I have almost a similar story myself. I've had to pay for my school since I was about 10th grade. So if you give up, you will not see the light of day. And even when we talk of people in business, for example, you'll find that there are people who start from the bottom. And we're not talking about exaggerated, I started with one rice and what, but like serious bottom, and they succeeded all the way to the top, because of, constantly working hard and saying, I can't give up. We don't have to have everything figured out. You could figure out certain things along the way as you go. Do you need, for example, there's this conversation sometimes, do you need capital to start a business? It's a very subjective conversation because...
So is it the reason why you're against people like this, you saying, should I take capital because you have to go through life where you have to pay for your school fees, like in the 10th grade?
Well...
And then there's someone who's like finished school. They can't even make a coin.
Yeah, well, again, it's not that they are really not doing anything. And I think it would be unfair to say that some are not doing anything and they're not trying. But those who say, I can't because I don't have this, are really not just giving it their best. Because trust me, even when you say, I can't do this, for example, you say, I don't have money to go to university. I didn't have money to go to university. But I'll tell you one thing, and I say this a lot. When I was going to apply for my undergraduate program at Cavendish, I didn't have even the money to get to Lusaka, right? Really? My friend was a bus conductor. I shout out to Gilbert, he's a cool guy. So he's a bus conductor. And he tells me, and I tell him, hey, I want to go to Lusaka. I don't have the money. He says, okay, I leave to Lusaka at 6. So if you could be by the road at 6, I'm going to pick you. Yeah, and he picked me. And Cavendish is along the road. From here, I mean, if you're coming from town, Cavendish is along the road.
Why should drop off there? Yeah,
so I dropped off there and I walked into Cavendish.
And how did you come back?
And I came back with him again. So I go into Cavendish. I reached there, and the school is amazing. I mean, it's a glass campus, sweet. It was very new at the time. So I reached there, and I can't figure out, the environment and so. And through the glass shield, an enrollment officer, Mike, calls me and says, "Come in." And so I go in and I sit there, and I'm asking him, because at the time I was thinking I was going to do journalism. So I asked him, can I do journalism? And he's like, yeah, we could, but we don't. It's not really journalism. It's mass communication. You're going to do a degree program. It's a double major of public relations. He explained to me cool stuff. I'm like, I want to do that. And I tell him, can I apply? And he says, yeah. But I tell him, I don't have the money. He says, fine. Here's the application form. Let me see your results. And he runs me through the process and the applications and tells me, I'm going to give you the form. Go and apply. And when you come back with the money, then I'll lock in your application, okay? And then I tell him, okay, but can I, do you think I could get accepted with my results? He's like, yeah, you're going to get it. So I'm like, cool stuff. So I get the application letter. I go back home. I call my friend who was still in town. I think that was around 11. I call him. He finds me by the road and picks me back to the town. Yeah. And I come back here. And I arrive here. And, yeah, it ends at that point because I don't have the money. But at least I know one thing, that I can get accepted into Cavendish. Yeah. I can do this program, and this is how much it costs. Yeah. Right? So I have enough information. If you came to me and asked me, hey, do you want to go to school? I'll tell you, yes. Okay, how much does it cost? I already have the information. Yeah. I already have the school I want to go to. Right? Then
you made an effort.
I made an effort, but I didn't end there. I then I started to do other jobs. It didn't work out. I was a security guard for a little bit. It didn't work out. Then I got my first formal job, and when I got that job, I was paid enough, to sustain my needs and have some extra. Yeah. So, what do you think I did? Because I had how much needed for me to go to school. I had the application letter already with me. I just sent the application letter back. Yeah. I got accepted into school. I paid and I started. And of course it's a lot of sacrifice because Cavendish is maybe among top 4 most expensive universities in the country. So it's expensive also to sustain yourself in Cavendish as a self-sponsored student. But I did that 4 years. After that I did my masters, and it's been like that. And I'm thinking I might do my PhD, but let me marry first. So yeah.
but you find that we have people out there they have really, really good results. 6 points.
Yeah.
And then when you ask them, why did you study or anything, they'll be like, I don't have money. There's no one to sponsor me.
Yeah, that's true. Like you're saying that they have good results and they're not in school. And you remember what I said in the beginning, that it's two types of individuals. One clearly doesn't have the money and is trying, and things are not just working. Yeah. Okay. The other has good results, but is folding their hands. Yeah. And says, I can't, when I got into school, there's a good friend of mine. She had amazing results, 6 points straight, and she was not in school. She comes from a background similar to mine, where you know that your parents can't afford, but you must do something because you will not go into school. And there's a program that Cavendish has where they get like the top students from secondary school. They run them through an assessment and they offer them 100% scholarship.
Okay.
Yeah. And I told her, hey, there's a scholarship.
Try
it out. You know, it's starting on this day. I called a few friends in school and I made the got correct information and said, go and participate. And she went in there and she nailed it. And she got the scholarship.
Yeah.
And she's doing medicine. No. So, yes, opportunities are there, but you must take deliberate effort. So you can have good results. But if you're seated at home and saying, today maybe you're not trying properly, and maybe you're not presenting yourself as someone who's willing to. Because even for her, if she did not go to Lusaka, if she did not prepare for the assessment, she did not pass the assessment, she wouldn't have gotten the scholarship anyways.
Yeah.
So with good results, but still you have to try, you know. And like someone says, I don't know who coined that saying, they say hustle like a dropout.
Yeah.
Even when you have 6 points, your approach should be like you have 21 points.
Yeah, you should be humble, you know.
Yeah, you know, don't say I have 6 points, so the school should come and find me. The school won't look for you.
Because sometimes you find that the way people carry themselves, you think very difficult. Like they got it. So how are you going to help that person? Because even if you come to me asking for help, I'll take it as a joke.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. So I think it's that, and once we understand as young people that we must apply ourselves so much to a point that even this arrival mentality should not be close to us. Because even in business, you know, you'll find that you start out a small business, maybe you're selling iPhones or whatever, you know, you have like a small business. The moment it just succeeds a little bit, you start to feel as if you own the world, you're on top of things and so on. But take your time, you know. There is, and I think also the one thing, Witty, that I don't know, I mean, maybe you could enlighten me on this is, you know, when, for example, you talk about someone that goes to the States, right? There's this idea of the American dream. And it says living the American dream. Because it's clear with the ideology of what the American dreams look like. What is the Zambian dream? Like, which is living what is the Zambian dream? Like, is there an ideology on which this nation is founded that you I don't know, like, you work towards it, you know? Like, do you have a compass of what it means to say? Because, you know, like, I mean, the uninformed Zambian perspective that most people have is you go to school, go and get a nice job, get a second-hand car from Japan, marry a house.
You forgot the loan part.
You know?
You forgot the loan. You get the loan, I didn't get the car.
Yeah, you get a loan, get a second-hand car from Japan, marry a good woman, you know, then move into your unfinished house in the outskirts of whether Lusaka or whatever.
Unfinished house.
And you start rolling.
That's a Zambian dream.
But that is so small a dream, you know. So that's why you find that people now who kind of just move out of this cycle, just are not even very outside this cycle. That just extend a little bit where they have their own house and they have maybe 2 flats, and maybe they can afford a car from Japan, but maybe a Fortuner. You know, like Hilux, but also driven. So you find that for them, they start to feel as if they have arrived so much. Yeah. You know, but we have to start to think about life and success at a far-reaching level. You know, start to think of like impact, you know, contributions to humanity. What does that mean? You know, what does it mean? Because that is slightly beyond. You need the material means to do that, but think of impact. Like, what kind of impact are you going to have on the world?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, once they get into hustling, the showing off is too much. We can even see it on the internet. People want to show off. People are painting this picture, like lies.
Yeah.
They're trying to seem as if they have it, but they don't have it. See their real life. Some of them, we even know them. Yeah. But what they're showing on the internet, we just shake our heads like, What? We know your real life.
Exactly.
Why are you lying?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Because look, with even just when you talk of people who have money, like real money, like we have some in this country who have real money, and they are not on the internet. Like, man, bro, there was a school meetup. I think it was in Mazabuka or something. There was like an international schools competition in Mazabuka. I think it was in Mazabuka, and they invited the parents of the kids at the international schools. Man, there was no car park there. There was a helicopter place, like planes were parked in that place where the school was having their sports. Not one, a lot of them. But
you can't even recognize any of them.
A lot of those people who had parked their planes there, we don't even know them.
Yeah, you can't recognize any of them.
Real money is...
And that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah.
So, I mean, we know some...
Just like you were saying earlier. Like, that person who gets a flat and the second-hand car from Japan will be louder than the guys you're just from mentioning. What are you doing? You ain't even got it like that. Can you please keep quiet?
Now imagine this guy's on the plane.
Yeah,
man, the guy will sleep in the plane, you know. So there's a next level, you know, and that will be informed by a lot of exposure and a lot of... Nothing wrong also with celebrating success on the way and being able to appreciate the moment, because sometimes also we forget to appreciate the different levels, you know. Like I was sharing with you that when you come from zero, even one is something, you know. But one should not make you now brag in front of people who are still at maybe zero, right? So, but one should not make you feel you have arrived. You must keep at it. You must keep going and understand that there is more. And I think that's a conversation that we must have even among young people, that there is more to this. There's more to getting a car. There's more to getting a house. There's more to getting a nice girl. Because even just when you think of having a nice girl, it's about, can you build a family and a home with that person? And those are slightly deeper conversations that we must have. And I think that is very important. Are we ready for that kind of conversation? When we talk wealth, are we able to have a conversation around even impact? Because if you're just bragging in front of everyone, I don't think that's impact. That's just you provoking everyone else. You know? Nothing wrong with success. If you have attained it, that's good. There's a lot of people who are successful, and we know that. But I mean, there's certain areas that are not necessary to push to that extent. So it's good, you know. It's good that there's that. So. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting that, you know, you know some of these people, for example, like how wealthy they are, but you just know them. You meet them around here. And they're cool
because
people.
You know them.
You know them, and they're like.
And then you can't tell from
meeting up with them.
Yeah, like when you see them on the first day, you won't even tell that, this one is rich or shan.
Yeah, I mean, you won't even know. When you meet them, you feel like this guy's broke. But when you see the bank balance, you just be like, hey.
You'll be like, what? Are you for real?
Yeah. So we have to push this conversation around some of these aspects beyond that, and say, how can we as young people push beyond? How can we as young people work with the available resources that we have?
So as a youth, what impact does a relationship have when it comes to building yourself? It could be negative or positive.
Yeah. I was actually laughing with my friend. He just graduated with a PhD a few days ago. And he was telling me, because now he wants to marry. And I was telling him, I want to marry before the PhD, so I want to do it like this. And he was telling me, so we're laughing that between love and relationships and furthering your studies, I recommend getting a PhD. Love and relationship can wait. And he was telling me, no, I actually recommend a good relationship. And that's to respond to your question. That you see, a good relationship has a lot of impact on whether you succeed or not. And this is something that also we're not paying particular attention to, because a relationship, one, takes up time. Okay, you have to invest time. You have to invest resources. But beyond material resources, when we talk about time, is what kind of time is it taking up? Because if, for example, it's quality time with your partner, you're seated, you're chatting, you're discussing the future, that is okay. But sometimes a relationship could be taking up time, you thinking, and just complaining, and this relationship is not working, it's giving you problems, you're having arguments. I don't think that you're gonna go far in a relationship with a person who is treating you like that, with a person who's causing you to feel that way. There's sometimes when you're working extremely hard, you're doing all these things, you're pushing at life, and your partner just feels as if you're not doing enough.
Yeah,
and that hits you.
They don't see it.
Yeah, and there's a way you're gonna feel, and probably you're gonna agree with me that there's a way you're gonna feel as a man if the partner that you have believes in you. Even the way you walk in the room is different. Because you know that, hey, my partner. I mean, everyone can have their opinion, but if your partner thinks you are the best at what you're doing, you're working hard. Man, there's just a way you
boosts your...
Yeah, even when there's, when your partner says, you're very focused. Even when you are not, is there, no, I'm focused, man, like even when you're not, you want to fit
even if someone said you're not.
Yeah, like you don't care because my partner said I'm a focused guy. So that is very important.
This is why the fact that a partner can have that much of an impact, this is why it would be very dangerous if you get a partner who's not understanding you.
Exactly.
Like, you can easily fall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because
some, for example, will think that it's not necessary. Because, for example, if you are a young entrepreneur, and you are in this business, and you are starting out, it requires you to spend more time. It requires you to meet up with the client at the convenience of the client. It requires you to do certain things, and sometimes you would say, okay, let's say with you in the media business, and the client calls you, I want a shoot at 17 hours. Okay, a client calls you right now, wait, I want a shoot at 17 hours. That is the exact 17 hours you had told your partner that you will go on a date, right? And a client calls you and says, hey, at 17, I want us to shoot. As a young entrepreneur, you're not going to let down a client.
No, you
don't. But when you go and explain this situation to your partner and say, hey, I think 17 hours, I'm going to be busy, I have a client. There is where now is a supportive partner and a dangerous partner.
That's where you see now the risk is there.
So a lot of that will happen if you're a young entrepreneur. A client wants you awkward hours, a client calls you at any time. But if your partner is supportive, they'll say, no problem, we can go on a date tomorrow. Please go and attend to the client.
Yeah, because she understands.
Others are very supportive, like Mutonga Photography works with the wife. They're going to come through with the partner. And So you must find someone who fits into your dream and are willing to support your dream.
The compatibility should be there.
Yes, let's do this together, I'm willing to support this dream.
It's easier that way.
But also as a young man, you must have a dream.
Yeah,
you must have a dream that you're working towards. Because many people also, they don't have a dream, but they want to seem like they have it. And they want to distract a young lady who has a dream.
You're making it difficult for her.
Exactly. Like where are we going?
I can't see it.
No, these
she wasn't
girls
supportive.
No, but what is there to support?
You are not clear,
Yeah, like it must be clear.
You're all
this
over
is what
the
I'm
place.
working towards, And a person who's working towards something, even the commitment, will show that my partner is working towards. But you say, for example, you're in the media business, but a client calls you, you refuse to go. What tomorrow? You just you destroy your lives together.
Yeah.
So
for better, for worse, indeed.
Yeah. So there must be clarity in terms of vision.
Yeah.
As a man, especially, your vision must be clear. And you must be able to explain it. But that does not mean that your wife won't have a vision. She could have also her own path, and that she's trying to pursue. And you would say, oh, okay, my partner is pursuing this path, and I'll support her like that. Yeah. And you work together. You meet somewhere.
Be both ways.
Yeah, don't go start killing people's dreams.
Yeah.
No, live your dream.
Let's focus on mine. Come on, I she's visionary.
So all those things. Yeah. So there must be a way in which these things feed into each other, and support must be, mutual, and that will definitely work out. So there's a lot of that, and. But also the other thing maybe we could talk about is identifying your areas of strength and weaknesses as a person as you're identifying which path to pursue. Because also sometimes you find that you know someone. What we cannot be a teacher. No, Me, I want to be a teacher. You know, I'm working towards it. And you left monok for the finish ticker.
Yeah.
You know, like there are certain people, for example. Yeah, there are certain people, for example, who are artists, and nothing wrong with artists, but you can tell, even when you listen to the song, as a friend, you can tell this song, you can't make it.
Yeah.
You know, but someone is focused on that dream. They want to be an artist. They've held on to it, and
then there's nothing else they're pushing
and there's nothing else
outside that.
And you can tell if song is the only thing you're relying on. This is a dangerous path you have taken.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Especially if you've been doing the same thing like for a long time,
and it's not clear
because it's not making any progress.
Yeah,
but you need to look elsewhere. But if you can't,
but even when people listen to it, no one is telling you that this is a good song. Because it's not even a big song in your community. I mean, it's so there's sometimes being realistic with the dreams and aspirations that we have. Take for instance, like Yomaps, right? And I've known Yomaps for quite a while. So even before Yomaps was big, you know, and when we were writing our grade 12 exams, there was a song he had just done, and he was showing us a sample. He had done a song with, I think, Jcash. Yeah, I think it was Dr. Wandi or something, where he was talking about this girl and so on, and they even did a video. So he was showing us the video of that song. Before he was big, that was, I think, 2017.
Before the international
artists. Before the international artists that we know. But all the songs that he, you know, gave us to listen to as friends, because at the time he was trying to push his music, they were good songs. You know, even at the time you could tell, hey, this is a good song. You know, in your mind you're just feeling, if the people could listen to this song, they're gonna like it. You know, and that's what happened. When the world got in touch with his music, he made it. Okay, so there are people who they make music, and it's still not clear whether that music can take them anywhere. Maybe they have to find a different genre. They have to find I used to do music. You know, I would write music. I'd rap. I was stage name. I was big in school. At least I was big in school. You know, I was big in high school. Those that were with me in high school tell you that I used to do music. But I realized that music is okay. I could do it, but it's not for me. There's other things that surround music and management and the industry as a business that I could participate in without actually being on stage. So you have to be realistic with your vision and say, this is a vision that I'm working towards, and the sacrifices that you make. So let's say, for example, you're not a good singer, right? You're not a good singer, and you sing, and you're making sacrifices. You sacrifice money, you go to the studio, you go and record the bad songs and so on. Nothing wrong with the kind of songs that we hear sometimes, but sometimes be realistic with yourself, so that even when you're being supported by your partner, by your family, it's the real things, you know, that can be substantiated, can be translated into something, you know. So we have to be real. Even, for example, certain careers. There's certain careers that people would want to take up, and they are not really as appreciated. There's nothing with being a pioneer in a particular industry and you're the first one in the country and you make it big, but also you have to be very realistic with certain dimensions and certain steps and decisions that you're making, because then through that you are informed about what kind of choices that you can make and what kind of sacrifices you have to make, what kind of sacrifices the people who believe in you should make.
But sometimes it can take that long.
Yeah, it can, but if you are good, the point is, it can take time, but if you are good, keep working on your craft. But if it's not your thing, right? So identify your strength.
So you can be good at it's not your thing.
I doubt if it could be good if it's not your thing, you know. I've listened to some guys and it's not their thing and they're not good.
Because we do have people who are like really good at something and then they've been doing it for a long time, but they don't break through.
Yeah, but that is different with, you know, like they're good at something. Because also, when excellence is not argued, you get my point? Mm-hmm. Excellence is not argued. If we say we shoot a production with the equipment that you have and whatever you have and so on, even if you're not the biggest producer in this country, but people who come into contact with your work should say this is a good thing.
Mm.
Okay? So if you're excellent at what you do, it might take you time to break even on a larger and commercial scale. But to those that you come into contact with, excellence cannot be argued. let's say, for example, even when you just shoot a picture, there's a lot of people in this country that we know that have expensive gear. But when they do their product, it's not as good.
Yeah, true.
So, but there's excellence if you see it. I mean, which you know a good thing when you see it.
It shows, yeah. Sure.
So it might take time to make it, and that's fine. There's power in the process.
Sure.
You know, it refines you, it makes you better, and so on. But if you've taken 10 years, let's say you're a photographer, you take 10 years, you've been shooting, but each time you shoot, your picture is upside down, the hands are cut, and you've been doing it for 7 years. Maybe try something else. There's no harm in starting again.
So what you're telling me right now is it's impossible for someone who's good to take that long.
No.
Like to break.
No, it's not impossible. But if you've been, I don't know what a practical example I can use. If you are good at something, if people come into contact with your work, they are gonna like it and appreciate it, and you're gonna work more on referrals. I'll give you a practical example of MJ. MJ is good at what he does, right? And I can't imagine how many people I have told to work with MJ, and they come to me and tell me, "Your guy is good." You know, like there's several of them. They have several functions. You know, if you caught me at 01 and you told me, "I want a guy that can document my event really well without thinking," I'll tell you, call MJ, right? But MJ is not a big name in this country, and it has taken him time. He's been at the game. You guys work together. He's been at it for some time, but he's good at what he does, and it's clear that one day he's gonna make it.
Yeah, it shows. It does show. You have a point.
So if you've been at it for a long time, but even us who know you can't see the progress.
Yeah, so that's why you should see yourself. Like you should get from that, like your surrounding. How are they responding to this? That should be the sign. That should be the first sign.
Yeah, you must be real.
Are they messing with this?
Exactly. So if you're not being realistic, then it will take you a long time. And
you're doomed.
Yeah, and unless God shows you mercy, you'll be in it for a long time. And you will start thinking people are not good and what. Because even me, if there are people who I respect, so if they ask for my opinion about something and I give them my opinion, they're gonna take that opinion. But if I give them an opinion and I know in my heart, let's say for example, people who've called me and I recommend MJ, it's because in my heart I have no doubt he's good. And I know that if he does it for them, they're gonna appreciate. Now imagine if I recommended MJ and he's not a good guy. They'll come and look at me and say, "What's wrong with you?" And they won't ask for my opinion on even other important matters.
They'll never trust you.
Exactly. So we must be real with ourselves first.
Yeah, true.
Then also be real with people around us. And then when we start to pursue a particular vision, a particular goal, we are very sure about it. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be poor at your workmanship in the beginning because you're learning. But how long should you learn a particular act or a trade or something? It should not take you very long. You know, you can't say, for example, you're an accountant with you've been doing accounting for 5 years, but you can basically put together a formula in Excel. Even if it's your thing, even if it's not your thing, time and excellence should start to tally. You've been at this for a long time, you've built experience, and you're working towards. Now, you are struggling even to put together a formula in Excel. You're an accountant, and now you tell your partner to say, "Support me, I want to start my own accounting firm." Sometimes we ask for too much. So we have to be very clear, honest with ourselves.
So sometimes it's valid for these partners not believing in you anymore.
Yeah, no, not even anymore. Even in the beginning, when they see this dream, it's good to tell you, and if your partner loves you enough, they should even tell you this dream. If it's possible, change it. Because there's a story I've seen on social media about Fally Ipupa. I don't know if it's true or not, but maybe we could look it up and see the facts. But it says Fally Ipupa's wife comes from a wealthy family, and he didn't come from a wealthy family, but he was good at his music, and the wife would watch him when he does community shows and so on, and would support him. And the partner would tell him, "You're good, you will make it," you know. And we know what Fally Ipupa is now. And even getting back to the story of Yomaps, Kandeke used to do music, but when he heard Yomaps, he said, "This is so good, mine doesn't matter, I'll support this guy."
And they're still together.
And they're still together up to now. So sometimes when you are good, the local, not everyone, Because again, it's unfair to say everyone will believe in you. But those that appreciate goodness and excellence will tell you you're good at what you do, and they'll support you. And that's what you need in life. You don't need the whole community to support you. You just need a few honest people to give you enough feedback to help you, and you're gonna succeed.
Yeah, and there are like certain individuals, once they appreciate your work, you even feel motivated.
Exactly.
Like, it's not everyone that's going to appreciate your work. You will see that this one is just saying for the sake of saying.
Exactly.
And then with certain people, you even know it. This one is messing with my craft.
Exactly.
I must be doing something.
Exactly.
And that should be the sign that you're on to something, like for real.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, bro, that was interesting. I think we're coming to an end of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good conversation, and I hope we do more of this. I know we started at a very funky note. We're talking about social media and a lot of things that are happening, but I think the last part was very close to my heart, because I see some of these things and I feel to myself, I have not made it big. At least, like I tell you, I come from zero, so one is something, but it's important that we have this conversation and we talk to each other. We tell each other the truth to say, look, this dream that you have, is it really worth it? You know, like, is it something that could translate into something? Because someone said something very important. You could be passionate about something, but passionate does not pay the bills. Passion alone does not pay the bills. It must be able to translate into economic value. So whatever you're pursuing, can we translate it into economic value and then be able to support your future for the foreseeable end? So those things, but these are conversations we must have, and maybe, you know, we could see what we could do on another episode. We could even get other more guys and have like a round table conversation.
So
that we talk about it even more, because it's important that we talk to each other and encourage each other. Because, I mean, you're doing this, I'm doing my own things, and there are things that we're doing. We must be able to give each other feedback. Say, hey, what are you doing? What can I learn from you? I'm getting into this space, and so on. So it'll be good to have that. But I mean, it's been an amazing time being here.
Yeah. So see you in the next episode with him.
Yeah, and a few other friends.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Don't forget to like. These people don't like. Please. They are watching, but they are not liking.
Please,
when you like, it helps grow the channel. When you don't, YouTube or any other platform won't push the work. So please like. If you are feeling shy to comment,
at least like.
Yeah. I don't care if you don't comment, but like.
At least like. Yeah, please.
But please do comment also.
And please share also if you can, even to a few individuals in your inbox.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. If you can relate to this content, but please. And thanks for those that like for now. We appreciate what you're doing.
Shout out.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
We out.